Hello friends, welcome to Coding Host YouTube channel. In this video, I will explain you G4G's problem triple sum in array. So in this question, we will get a array of size n and a integer x, and we have to find that if there is a triplet in the array which sums up to the given integer x. So in the example 1, you can see that we have a array in which we have 6 elements and we have a variable x, it is 13. So we have to find that in this array if there is 3 elements whose sum is equal to 13. So you can see yes, 1, 4 and 8 have sum equal to 13. You can see that there is a method and its return type is boolean. If we can find any triplet in the array, then we have to return true, and if we cannot find any triplet, then we have to return false. And if you scroll down in the question, you can see that expected time complexity is big of n square and expected auxiliary space is big of 1. So now let's write the program. So in the program, first I will take a variable boolean b equal to false. So initially we are setting its value as false. Then there is a brute force approach for this question, that we can use 3 nested for loop, but because of that the time complexity of this program will reach big of n cube, but you can see that we only have to do it in big of n square, so we cannot use 3 nested for loop. So we have to use another approach. For that, first we will sort our array. So I will write here arrays dot sort. So in this I will pass our array, then I will take a for loop. So I will start this for loop from the last index of the array. So int I equal to n minus 1 and I larger than or equal to 0 and I minus minus. Now inside this for loop I will take two variables, int left equal to 0 and right equal to I minus 1. Then I will take a while loop. So while left is less than right. Now in this while loop we will take some if statement. If array of L plus array of R plus array of I is equal to this x variable, so in that case, so b will become true, and then we will break our for loop. After that I will take else if statement. Else if array of left plus array of right plus array of I is less than this x variable, so in that case we will increment our left pointer, and in the else part we will decrement our right pointer, and in the last we will return our variable b. Now let's run this program. So you can see that this program is working fine. Now let's see how this program is working. So you can see that in the program we are getting a array and a variable with the size of the array and the int x variable. Then I have taken a variable boolean b equal to false. Then here we are sorting this array first, because after the sorting now we do not have to use nested loops here, so we can decrease the time complexity of this program. So after sorting this array it will become like this. After that we have taken a for loop for int I equal to n minus 1. So we are starting this for loop with the last index of this array. So last index of this array is 5, so I is starting from 5. Then here it will check I is larger than or equal to 0. So yes, I is larger than 0. Then inside the for loop we have taken two variables, L equal to 0 and R equal to I minus 1. So then we have two pointer variables, left and right. So this left pointer variable will start from here at index 0, and this right pointer variable will start from I minus 1. So I is 5, so 5 minus 1 will become 4. This right pointer variable is starting from this index 4. So now you can see that this I index is here and this left and right indexes are here and here. So then I have taken this while loop, while L is less than R. So here we are using two pointer approach. So L is less than R, yes, L is 0 and R is 4. Then we have if statement. If element at index L plus element at index R plus element at index I is equal to this x variable. So you can see that at index 0 element is 1, at index 4 element is 10, and at index 5 element is 54. So when you will sum all these variables, so it will become 65. So you can see that 65 is not equal to this variable 13. So this if statement is false, then it will check this next else if statement. In this if statement, it will check that sum of this variable is less than this x variable. So 65 is not less than 13. So this else if statement is also false. Then this else statement will execute and r will decrement. So now r will become 3. Now this while loop will again execute, and this time it will check the element at this indexes 0, 3 and 5. I is still at index 5 and L is still at index 0, but now R is at index 3. So you can see that because this array is sorted, so if this sum value is larger than this x variable, so it's mean that we do not have to go forward, we have to go backward. Only then we can find any sum value which will be less than this present sum value, because this array is sorted. So next element maybe will larger than the previous element. So if the sum of this all elements is less than this x variable, that time this left pointer will increment, and if the sum of these elements is larger than this x variable, so that time we will decrement our r pointer. If the sum of these elements are equal, then we will make our variable be true and we will break our while loop. So now you can see that this time it will check the sum of the elements. So at index 0 we have 1, at index 3 we have 8, and at index 5 we have 54. So 8 plus 1 will become 9, and 9 plus 54 will become 63, and still it is not equal to x, right? And still it is not less than x. So this statement is also false and this is also false, and this else statement will execute. So r will decrement, so r will become 2. So you can see that now this time it will check the elements at index 0, 2 and 5. So 6 plus 1 will become 7, and 7 plus 54 will become 61. So still this 61 is larger than this variable 13. Again r will decrement, now r will become 1. So again if we sum the element at this indexes, so at index 0 we have 1, at index 1 we have 4, and at index 5 we have 54. So sum of all these elements will become 59. So still sum of these elements is larger than this x variable. Again r will decrement, so r will become 0. Now you can see that this value will break because L is not less than r. After that this I variable will increment, so this time I will start from index 4. After that this L variable will again start from index 0, but this R variable will start from I minus 1. I is 4, 4 minus 1 will become 3. So now this R variable will start from index 3. Now this while loop will again execute. So if we sum the elements at this indexes, so at index 0 element is 1, and at index 3 element is 8, and at index 4 element is 10. So 8 plus 1 is 9, and 9 plus 10 will become 19. So this time sum is 19. So we know that this first and second statement will not execute, this else statement will execute. So r will decrement, so r will become 2. After that this while loop will again execute. Now we will check the element at this indexes 4, 0 and 2. At index 0 we have 1, at index 2 we have 6, and at index 4 we have 10. So 10 plus 6 is 16, and 16 plus 1 will become 17. So this time sum is 17, and still it is larger than this variable 13. Again r will decrement, so r will become 1. This time it will again check the indexes. So 1 plus 4 will become 5, and 5 plus 10 will become 15. So this time sum is 15. Still it is larger than this x variable. Again r will decrement, so now r will become 0 again, and when it will become 0, this while loop will break because now L is not less than r. Now I will decrement, so I will become 3. Then left pointer will again start from index 0, and this right pointer will start from I minus 1. So 3 minus 1 will become 2. So it will start from index 2. Now this while loop will again start. Now it will check the sum of the elements at indexes 3, 0 and 2. At index 0 element is 1, at index 2 element is 6, and at index 3 element is 8. So 8 plus 6 will become 14, and 14 plus 1 will become 15. So it is again 15. So this r pointer will decrement, so r will become 1. Now it will check the sum of the element at this indexes 0, 1 and 3. So at index 0 we have 1, at index 1 we have 4, and at index 3 we have 8. So this time when you will sum these elements, 8 plus 4 will become 12, and 12 plus 1 will become 13. So this time sum is 13. So this first if statement is true, then this variable b will become true, and this break statement will execute, then this while loop will break. So you can see that here this while loop will break, but this for loop will still run, because this inside break statement will only break this while loop, not this for loop. In the program after this while loop, I will take a if statement. If this variable b is true, then this for loop will also break. So in the program after this while loop, I will take a if statement. If b is equal to true, then we will take this break statement. So it will break this outside for loop. Now let's submit this program. So you can see that our program has submitted successfully. Now if you see the time complexity of the program, so here they have told that we have to take time complexity of big of n square. So here first we are using this sort function, so it will take big of n log n time complexity. Then here we are using two nested loops. First is for loop, then inside we have while loop, but here we are using two pointer approach. Because of that, here time complexity is not big of n square, because we are using two pointer approach. So that's why the time complexity for this whole program will become big O of n log n, and the space complexity will be big O of 1, because we are only using this three extra variables b, l and r variable. So thanks for watching.